Hey OUSD, it's me Shakati Gasha from Everyone and Everyday Counts campaign. Last year we started this campaign to promote a warm, welcoming and safe learning environment for every student. We asked schools to participate in a monthly theme-based attendance challenge. We celebrated one participating school each month for their continued commitment to learning, improving attendance, and reducing chronic absenteeism. The winning schools received a prize for their faculty and were awarded the Traveling Attendance Clock Trophy by a very special virtual guest. During the celebrations, we had the opportunity to interview our guests and hear what they had to say about the importance as well as their experience in school. Some responses were funny, heartfelt, profound. All of them were great. As we head into the new year and the new you, we thought one way we could set the tone was to revisit some of our favorite guest responses. The first question we asked our guests: what does showing up every day mean to you? So for Ms. Lassett, I'll start off as, what does showing up every day mean for you?
It's funny you asked that question because Coach Craig said it. Two key words for me is being prepared and engaged. It's easy to show up any day, physically to show up. That's easy. The hard part is to show up and, like you said, be mentally and physically engaged and prepared in what you're going to do. For myself, for the past 15 years, it's been practice and games. I've had games where I showed up, I was there, but mentally I wasn't ready to put my all into it. I wasn't ready to focus on the task at hand. So for me, showing up is, like Coach Craig said, it's showing up and being mentally and physically engaged and prepared at all times.
Oh yeah, showing up every day is still so important for me. And the way that I show up in my career as a storyteller is by making sure that I write a little bit every day, that I read some every day, and that I look at reading to learn from other people who are working in my craft, who have come before me, and learn how they handle story issues or character development, all the elements that go into story. And also I get to look at a whole lot of art because I work in children's picture books, like the artwork behind me. So this is from one of our books. And so I really look at a lot of art to see which artist may be right to pair with for a particular story, because I can't draw worth a lick. So if any of you students love to draw, paint, and color, maybe you can help me make a book one day, because I won't be the one drawing it. I do the writing side. And so that's what showing up looks like to me, even as an adult. And so it never really stops. You just carry it over into your profession and your passion, showing up for your community and for your family and whatever it is that you hold dear. But being present is so important. It's irreplaceable.
Wow. Well, I think that showing up comes up in different ways and different ways of how you think about it. I think for me, showing up means that I'm present and that I'm focused and I'm ready to go. And especially in my job, I think that definitely Oakland Public Schools definitely prepared me for that moment to just show up and show out, right? And so a big part of the heart of who Oakland is showing up, and showing up even when we don't want to. And so I'm proud to say that.
There were some great responses. Appreciation to all those voices for sharing their insights. Next, we wanted to know, if you could have a conversation with your younger self, what advice or encouragement would you give?
I would tell myself to invest in Apple and Amazon. For sure. Number one. And then number two, more importantly, I would tell myself to read more. I think I saw reading as something as a chore, and something that now as an adult I do every day, as far as it's an article or a script, and I try to read a book a month. I think reading is more important than ever now, especially with the way technology is and the way we're fed information. A book is something that's in a silo, and it is a personal thing between you and the book, and your creativity comes from it. You can meet somebody from a different walk of life that you never would actually meet. And so I would tell my elementary self to read more books.
That is a great question. I think I would tell myself that I can do anything that I put my mind to. I think a lot of people grow up being told what they can't do and not necessarily what they can do. And, I've experienced firsthand, I've seen it firsthand, you really can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. And so I would tell myself not just to have lofty goals, but start to plan it out. If you want to be an athlete, you have to, make a schedule for running, make a schedule for practice. If you want to be a doctor, say I'm going to read one book a month or one book a year about this subject to learn about this more. If you want to be a lawyer, you know, ask if you can talk to someone within law or learn a bit more about that. So I would just say, don't limit yourself to what you cannot do or what you think you can't do, and be open to all the possibilities of this world. You guys are really at an age where the world is at your fingertips and you can do anything you put your mind to. I truly believe that. It just takes hard work and belief, and you really can accomplish, you know, whatever you want in this world.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think advice I would give to my middle school self. When I was in middle school, I think it was easy for me to get discouraged because I didn't know anyone who wanted to do what I wanted to do. There weren't a lot of kids that wanted to be a veterinarian. So I think if I had to give myself advice back then, it would just be if you have a dream, to stick to it, to stay with it. Don't be discouraged just because you don't see people who look like you, or you don't have other people interested in what you're interested in. But if you have a goal, just keep chasing it.
Do your homework as soon as you get home, because then you got more time to be a kid. Stop waiting until, do it as soon as you get there.
Great advice.
Probably that.
Yep. Don't procrastinate. Lastly, we asked, is there a specific subject, moment, or person from school that helped shape who you are today?
Yeah, yeah, I had a teacher in 6th grade. His name was Mr. Murray. He was an English teacher. And he noticed that I like to rap and rhyme words. So he bought me this little, like, I use it as a rhyme book, but it was a little notebook. And he was one of the first people to kind of put me on to Langston Hughes. And he was like, you should look into Langston Hughes. You should look into Maya Angelou. At a young age, before I even knew really what they were talking about, you know. But he kind of opened my eyes to a different side of, because when I thought of poetry, I just thought of rap, you know. But he opened my mind to like real poetry. So Mr. Murray was a big one for me.
Yeah, that's funny. My best friend in the whole world, he just left. He didn't tell me he was coming. He just wanted to come by the studio and see hear some of the new stuff. But it was him. When I got to school, he was the coolest kid in the school, the best athlete, but he was also the smartest. And not just like it was natural. He worked really hard. He studied really well. So he was the first person I saw make studying look cool. And he 100% saved my life, because as his best friend, I couldn't be the one not studying, hanging around him, you know. So he read. His mom never had to tell him to do his homework. It was impressive. So it's him. Shout out to Dylan.
Awesome. Thank you.
You know, in elementary school, I had a lot of teachers who were very encouraging, and I learned a lot from. I feel lucky to not have one of those teaching experiences that rappers rap about, where they say, oh, my teacher said I would never be anything. I had a lot of really encouraging teachers throughout all of my OUSD experience. But in elementary school specifically, I had 2 teachers who would catch me doodling in class and tell me I can't do that, but still encourage me to be creative and to be artsy. And Mr. Jacobs at Martin Luther King had even bought me a sketchbook. And that meant everything to me. That little push meant everything, because it made me feel cool that I was doing it. A lot of kids who may not have been paying attention weren't daydreaming and drawing. Like, that's what I was doing. So it kind of took something that was specific to me and enhanced it. And that came from a teacher out of OUSD. So I'm forever grateful for that.
Huge shout out to all the guest presenters and every school that participated in the first ever Everyone and Everyday Counts campaign. Be on the lookout for season 2, as we won't disappoint. Your school could be the next winner.
And I want to know who's next. That's what it's all about. Let's make this a huge competition, continue to battle, and continue to show up every single day so that we can reach our full potential and be great and give back to our community.